If we look at the equity portion of the Betterment portfolio, we'll see Betterment has a value tilt. 9.4% of their equity holdings go to US large value, 6.5% to US small value, and then 7.7% to US mid-cap value. So all comprised a little bit over 20% of your equity holdings at Betterment go to US value stocks. Here's the thing, value stocks behave a little bit differently than the rest of the market beta, or growth stocks. So let's open this up here and take a further look at things. And we'll start with a Morningstar chart that shows the cumulative total return of a $10,000 investment. And I've put on here the S&P 500 represented by the Vanguard Mutual Fund, VFINX. Large growth represented by, again, the Vanguard Mutual Fund for large growth, and then large value represented by also the Vanguard Mutual Fund for large cap value, which is reflective of the value of the large value here in your Betterment portfolio. It's probably the same thing. I think they're using the Vanguard Value ETF. Yeah, so exact same thing represented here on this chart. Anyways, this shows the growth of $10,000 over the last 10 years. And we can see the growth mutual fund, $10,000 invested in it, would now be worth $42,685 today, whereas value would be worth only $32,205 today. So growth has clearly outperformed value over the last 10 years, and more specifically, over like the last 4 or 5 years here. We can see up until about 2018, they were basically doing about the same damn thing. And then growth kind of bubbled up, whereas value didn't. Right? So over this 10-year period, growth has outperformed value, but that is not always the case. If we go back and we look at things here in the 2000s, and the 2000s are known as the lost decade because the S&P 500 basically went nowhere over this period of time. So we'll set these dates to January 1, 2000 to December 31st, 2009. And here we can see value outperformed. It went up 15% over this time period. Growth went down 24%. So if you invested $10,000 into the large value holding, you'd be at $11,000, gosh, I'm getting my numbers all wrong here. I can't read. $11,552 versus growth $7,553. So it would have went down there. Over this 10-year period, S&P 500 down about 9% over this time period as well. So value outperformed growth here in this lost decade. If we go back and we look at 10 years prior, and I don't know if we can do that because these mutual funds may not have been around. No, we cannot. But if we look at it, let's just go to where the mutual funds start there in about 93, and then through 12/31/99. We can see growth outperformed, value kind of underperformed the S&P 500. So when one kind of rips up, the other one kind of stays low, and then, well, vice versa. So let's look at things more recently here, year to date. Well, we'll go back to the 10 years because I need to point this out. Over the last 4 to 5 years, growth has outperformed, but year to date, we're seeing growth really taking a nosedive here, down about 17% year to date, whereas value is only down about 2%. So if we're going to kind of look at this and say, hey, maybe tech has bubbled, in tech stocks being the NASDAQ, it's down, I think, like 30% or so recently. Let's just pull that up. Let's not guess on it. Let's just look at the NASDAQ. It's down a lot over after its recent high. You know what? And I should check on this to make sure that I selected QQQM. I don't know what that is. QQQ I know is the NASDAQ 100. I think QQM is the same thing. Yeah, basically the same thing. Right? If we look at this let's just see the dates here. From the highs, right, in QQQ kind of peaked at a valuation based on a $10,000 investment at the start of this calendar at $14,000. Now it's down roughly about 15%. So it's about in line with the growth stocks, right? So if we're looking at this and saying, hey, growth in tech, the tech bubble is kind of over. There was a little bit of a tech bubble for whatever reason. Now money is going to be going into value holdings. If we look at it in that context, I would say that Betterment's portfolio is pretty well poised for growth, although over the last couple years, the Betterment portfolio has not done so well. What do you guys think on this? Think about this. This is just an interesting observation, primarily based on the relationship between value and growth stocks. Let me know what you think in the comments below.